I'm Eric, and this is Carol, my wife.
Hi.
And we're flirting with realities. Just kidding. I'm Carol. This is Eric.
What did you want to talk about today, Caroline?
Very good question. The craziness of the world is a good thing to talk about. All the things we've been going through that are kind of weird or
Well, we wonder if they're. I guess I don't. I think you're on the same page as I am. Where I wonder if it's always been this way and just never noticed it, or is everything changing? And it's weird that you have to question reality. You have to question what is the truth. We have to question like what's happening in the world. But I think that's where we're at. And I don't know what's up with that. It's like. Why do you think that is? Why do you have to question what's happening?
did you burn yourself?
Yeah.
Painful. Because I think the state of weirdness keeps getting more and more. Like, for sure, we're in an area where it's weird. Like when we saw that guy with his scooter when we were getting coffee that one morning, and it literally was like out of a movie.
So the guy had a scooter that was like maybe a scooter that somebody had thrown away because
Because it didn't work.
well yeah, maybe it didn't work, but maybe it was an accident, or maybe it's just like the thing got used or something, and like he found it and got it running or something. Like it looked Mad Max. It just didn't have any fairing on it. It didn't have any panels. It was just pieced together, and then he had a trailer that he made out of, I don't know, like fucking Tupperware or something. Like I don't. It was just so sketchy. But like we were watching that guy and just looking at him, thinking like,
Well, what was he doing? He was working on his bike. He was trying to do something
oh, I'm
there
sure he's
for,
working on it all the time.
yeah, for like,
I think that's what you do when you have a vehicle like that that's pieced together.
I mean, he was there a long time, and he was there when we were leaving. So then you have homeless camps all around where there's just garbage everywhere, and people are using the bathroom, and it looks unlivable. It looks like a dump, but people are living there. Then you have a bunch of people who seem, like you were saying the other day, unhealthy is the nice way I'm gonna put it. Um, that's like a constant around here.
Well, and maybe that's half of our struggle too. Is we're not Washington State natives,
Mm-hmm.
so we're not. What have you've been here 4 or 5 years?
2018.
So about 5 years, and I've been here a little over 3, almost 4, I guess, 4 in November. So I think this place is so weird. But it's like, how did you feel? We went on a vacation to Nevada and Las Vegas, Utah. How did you feel? Like I guess that's our problem. Is like, is it Washington? Is it like post COVID? Is it like what? But it's like, have we just never realized it? Like, but what is going on? What is going on with everything?
Well, things are like there's shortages of things all the time. There's a lack of customer service everywhere. People don't care. Like you go to check out at Fred Meyer's and things won't ring up, and people are like, I'm just gonna type it in. And then the Home Depot guy did that too. Like it's a lot of chaos.
Well, it's not only like lack of customer service, but then there's this thing that people do where they go, hey man, everybody is short staffed. Like you need to be patient. And so there's this like, hey, it's acceptable to be a giant piece of shit. Like, you order something on eBay, and like I saw a post on Facebook the other day, and somebody's like, I ordered something on eBay, and it's been like fucking 5 days since the guy shipped. And of course, somebody came in the comments. They're like, "Hey, man, people have jobs and stuff. Like eBay's not their only thing. Like, well, guess what? Don't sell on eBay then. If you
I
can't do your
know.
job, then don't do this." But it's like we're giving up all responsibilities and accountability. I guess more accountability is going out the window. But people are making excuses for all this, and so it's so I don't know. I guess that's where we're stuck though is what's happening, and there is a lot of human psyche change, and it seems like it's really for the worst. It feels like everybody is kind of like mentally spiraling downwards, for many reasons, I guess.
And not even really there at the same time.
I think that's the spiral downwards, though, don't you? Is that's kind of like checking out, and a lot of that could be, like what we talk about with the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram, the attention spans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening to adults, it's happening to kids, and maybe that's a huge part of this downward spiral. And not even being here in this world anymore. It's. I think I've talked to you about this a little bit, but I've never really watched TV, and so if I have company over, for sure, I think it's a proper thing to do is to like just sit with somebody in silence, even well, not in silence, but without distraction. But I think it's more common, almost standard, if somebody has company over, they have the TV on, like just watch TV with them, I guess, or something. I don't think anybody just sits down and talks, which I
Yeah,
think
I
is
think that's
weird.
a dying thing for sure.
Yeah. And I've had comments of like friends that come over and like, dude, it's weird to just sit here and like not watch TV and stuff, but it's like I don't know, it's some of the best moments in life, I think. But anyway, I think society is yeah, there's something happening. Like we're going crazy, but
I mean, our president can go around sniffing babies and like doing weird things and stuttering and not being able to make sense. And then he can say, I'm not going to do the debates. And I mean, I just think a lot of like, yes, there's weird people here, but things are happening
everybody's lying.
around the world. Yeah, there's fake news. There's people who want to be able to say if information is correct or not, but who are they to be able to say if it's correct or not? The Fed now thing, they want to be able to stop any financial transaction that they deem fit. If you're traveling too much, they could say, no, I decline this. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things happening.
Yeah, there is. I guess one thing I think we're focusing on is the decline of people, though, too,
Yeah.
and how you can't talk to a person anymore. You can't. I don't know if you want to get into it, but you went to the doctor and like you're trying to explain to this doctor and he doesn't listen.
I'll for sure get into it. It was as if I wasn't speaking. I couldn't get him to listen to me at all. But this is happening to me for a while with medical. We went to the emergency room and the same sort of thing happened to me there. It keeps happening. I don't know what's up with the medical industry. I think it literally is kind of like it's turned into a McDonald's where they're like, this is outside my scope. You're speaking to me. I don't want to be speaking to you, so I'm not going to deal with it.
Yeah, but it's weird because doctors like go to school for a long time and they learn all about medical stuff. And so, my experience recently of going to the doctor was I went in there and had a conversation with him, and it's not even really a disputable fact that some of these things we talked about he didn't know. And he was an endocrinologist, and but I guess that's my recent. The first endocrinologist I ever went and saw was about 9 years ago, and that guy didn't know anything either. And I didn't know anything back then because I didn't do my research like I have now. But I knew that guy was full of crap, and it's like, well, what is happening? And that guy was, like 75-year-old doctor. He'd been a doctor for a long time in endocrinology. How does he not know super basic? And I'm not talking disputable facts. I'm talking about, like, I told him I was taking like half a milligram of a pill, and he's like, they don't make half milligrams. They only make 1 milligram. I was like, yeah, I cut the pill in half. And it was like, how do you not? But he deals with like hormones all day long, and he doesn't know. Like, he's never talked to anybody that cuts a pill in half to get their dose. I mean, that's insane. It's like he just it's
Well,
like
or
he
that
just
you
stepped
couldn't
in.
even come to the conclusion, oh, maybe he's slicing that pill in half. As
Or
a,
ask, well, how are you getting that dose?
yeah.
What are you doing? But that's what I'm saying. It's like this guy. It's like we're in the Matrix, and they're like, okay, well, send Johnny in to be the endocrinologist, and he just stepped in, and he's just like, hey, I'm the endocrinologist. I've been working as an endocrinologist for 50 years now. It's like like I'm in a movie, like I'm in the Truman Show. Is the Truman Show the one?
Yeah, I mean, I literally felt that way the other day when the guy leaves the room and the girl comes back and hands me the paper, and I'm like, yeah, no, this, like, a couple things weren't right on there that he said he was going to do. And then she leaves and comes back, and I'm like, still, what about this? And she's like, oh, we can't do that here. And I'm like, you don't test for that here? She goes, we do, but we're not going to do that here. It just was super weird.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. It doesn't make sense because I was trying to tell you about. So we shipped a package 2 months ago to Poland, and it came back in like 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And my mailman just hands it to me, and he goes, here. And I'm like, well, why is this being returned? And he's like, I don't know. And so I was like, well, okay, I spent $40. Like, I would like to know. And so we just reprinted the label, put it back in the mail, and it went from like Portland to Los Angeles, and then back here probably like 8 times. And so it like scanned, so many times that USPS stopped tracking the scans. Like, it just fell off because they can't handle that much data or something on their page. But anyway, so I went and picked this package up finally after it's 2 months of just going from California to Portland. And I was just like, what was happened? Like, what happened? And they just feed you full of shit. They just take these guesses, and you're like, well, that's not true because of this. And they're like, oh yeah, what about this? And then like, that's not true either because of this. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess he's right. And well, I guess we don't know what the problem is. Like, okay, well, where's my $40 then? Because you guys didn't do it. We provided a service, sir, and it's done. We consider this completed because we returned the package to you. That's crazy. This is crazy.
So I spent $40 to get my package back.
No, to have it lost and then have a customer get completely like upset because he's like, where's my crap? And then I look like an idiot because it looks like I didn't ship it or something. So not only did you lose $40, but then your customer's mad at you, and then I got to pay another 10 something to ship it again to him to a different US address. So it's $50 in shipping that I totally missed out on. Plus the guy's mad. Plus we don't even know what happened. And it's just this, but this is not an isolated incident.
No, this is everything.
This is every day of our lives now.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Like you're doing that Facebook thing
Yeah.
where you're trying to connect your website to the Facebook, and there's an error.
Yeah, but this has been happening for a while because I did this with another Facebook page and I got it connected with my website and then Facebook was erroring, so I couldn't like the shop said it was connected, but it wasn't connected. So I'm like, okay, I'm just deleting all this and I'm going to start over. And yeah, now there's a ridiculous error still, but it's on Equid's side this time that I see the error. Anyway,
Well, but okay, so there's problems, which is fine. We're understanding of that. But guess what? There's no one to talk to about this. Like you can't contact Facebook. I mean, if you can contact Facebook, it's like you contact them and then you give them screenshots and like,
that's
and then it's just a new
exactly
person, and
what
then and they don't
happened.
know what it's talking about, and then they don't know what they're talking about, and they pass on something, and it's just like, and then I was helping you troubleshoot it, and I'm on my phone trying to troubleshoot it, and like it's getting all screwed up, and then I go to my laptop, and then it like I can do this when I couldn't do this on my phone, and it's just it is so like, oh, it's insane. And well, but how many settings are there in Facebook like business page? There's like, I don't know. There's so many settings, and there's settings within settings within settings.
Well, that's just it. You have to go to several different places to to have permissions set up. It's like a maze of
Everything, though, our whole daily lives, right?
yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
talking about today. All I was doing is trying to edit a PDF, and I don't have Adobe, because I don't want to pay like $1 million, whatever they want. And so I'm trying to just get away to just put some text into this PDF, and it probably took me an hour or two. And then when I was done with that, I got to go try to pay a speeding ticket in California. And like, it's just you go to the website and you're like, click on this, and then it's like, but you can't get here. And then I finally called, and the lady like walked me through it. And I'm like, dude, I have no idea how you would have expected somebody to find this information. Well, and then on top of that, the officer tells us we'll get a courtesy notice in 2 to 3 weeks that we'll have to pay. And it's been 5 weeks, and I'm like, there's no courtesy notice came, which is okay. It's a courtesy notice; it doesn't come. But like, at what point? How do I figure out how to pay this ticket? There's nothing online. And I finally called the girl, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, it might not be put in until like November." So it's like and it's just a big setup for you to miss it, or
Yeah, it is for you to miss it and get a warrant out for your arrest.
yeah.
That's crazy.
But like I say, these are not isolated incidents. It is a
Yeah, it's
constant
pretty
every
much
day.
everything that we do.
Well, that's what I was saying about the Adobe thing. Is like Adobe made PDFs because they were going to make our lives easier. You want to send like documents electronically, and it's going to make everything easier. And then look where we're at. Like I spent a couple hours trying to put some numbers next to a line item. Like I was thinking, I was thinking about that today because I was thinking about how am I going to get this done. And I was thinking, damn it, why didn't I should have just printed the stupid thing out and written it with my hand and then scanned it back in. Like, I mean, that's my problem. But it's so hard to negotiate or navigate life these days, and the people are like twice as dumb as they've ever been, I think.
They certainly don't have like customer service is just not a thing anymore. When I get it, I'm like so grateful now. It feels like so exceptional when it happens. I'm always like, thank you so very much for helping me out.
Yeah. Well, I guess we were talking about, talking about the degradation of people. I was talking about like customers. And when I started my own business in 2009, people were pretty functional. Like I could just make a part.
Fuck, this bug's attack.
I could make a part and ship it out with no instructions, no nothing, no pictures, and people would just figure it out. Maybe they'd struggle through it, but I didn't hear about it. Not really. And then time went on, and people started complaining, and I was like, this is becoming a problem. Like everybody needs to pull it together, and everybody knows that knew me from my old business. They all know this is all I preached about. Fast forward till today, and I mean, we're selling light bulbs that you put in your car that should literally take, you know, I mean, I put them in your car in probably 30 minutes, and I had a couple problems because I had to figure some stuff out. But I mean, if you don't have any problems, like I put them in the rest of my car like 15, 20 minutes. But there's people that can't figure this out. It's insane. It is so mind blowing. And if you have problems, like I get that, you work your way through it. But these people don't even know where to start. They have no idea. And that, how are you a car guy, but you don't know how to work on a car? Like that's not a thing. That's what car guys are. They're people that work on cars. But it's all lost now. It's all people have been so dumbed down. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't even think it's even just the working on the cars. They're like difficult to deal with a lot of the times, just
That
with
too.
communicating.
That too. The I mean, we've gotten bad feedback on eBay because people order their own crap. And that's what we were talking about. You can't have a no return policy, or you can't have anything negative about return policies. 20% restocking. You can't do any of that anymore because people just throw a fit and just they're so used to just Amazon. And I mean, I guess it's part of doing business, but at the same time, like these people don't. They just order shit and they're, hey, yeah, okay, well, I want to send this back. And it's like, well, hey, listen, like that took me time to put in a box and to ship to you, and like time is money, and then you're gonna send it back, and I'm not gonna make any money. It's like just because you didn't think your purchase through,
Yeah.
So it's people and things. The funny thing is, when I was doing business 2 years ago, just from doing business now, it has changed so much in 2 years. It has changed so much. Like it's almost unrecognizable.
Well, it's weird because you know how we took time off social media? I don't think social media is recognizable. Like, I think it's
Yeah,
totally, completely different than what it was when
for
we
sure.
quit. Like, it's not even the same thing. I feel like it is just a solely like TikTok-y type business platform, and nobody's looking at anything.
Yeah. Well, so we stopped watching all TV and YouTube and everything, mostly because we were busy, but I think we just didn't want to either. But we got on there last week or whatever, and I was like, oh my God, like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, but we made that comment. I was like, we haven't been on like TV or YouTube for, I don't know, maybe a couple months. And then all of a sudden we were on there, and I'm like, what? Like, they're talking about pulling some Egyptian I don't know what out of the Grand Canyon or something now, and it's just like okay. And then there's aliens, and
Yeah, a whole bunch of
it's like okay. I'm just. But what do? You get rid of the TV and you get rid of social media, all that, and then what happens if at this point in time? What happens if you get off and you get back on in another year? Like you're gonna be like, what the fuck just happened? Like
I
you won't be able
mean,
to handle it.
I don't think you would be because I feel that way about social media now. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
long we took off, 10 months, something like
No,
that.
better than that.
Yeah, it was a while, but it's not the same thing as it used to be.
But I think that's what we're talking about. Is I think we took. I mean, what do you think? Like, well, at least a year, right? Maybe better than a year. But let's just say a year. So if you take off a year, I feel like we're still struggling. Like even today, because we are not um what's the word I'm looking for? You haven't adapted with it.
Yeah.
Like we missed a year, and our brains can't figure out that we're still back in that year. We're still back in like that mind frame, and we still haven't caught up. But it's still moving forward. So what happens if you take off a year now is just
Well,
it fries your
especially with
brain.
AI, I think if you took off a year right now, I think things are about to propel forward. And if you weren't there to see it, and it'd be even worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I guess just talking around with people, I feel like if you talked to somebody 6 months ago and you were like, hey man, like, no, I'm starting up hydroponics and like, I got water collection and like I'm worried about life and I'm worried about having money for food and I'm worried about food sources in general. 6 months ago, people were like, okay, like calm down, dude. Like,
I know they'd be like, "What? What are you talking
yeah,
about?
things are going to come back around. The economy has ups and downs.
What? There's no shortages. What
Yeah.
shortages?"
But today, I feel like everybody's kind of like, so what are we doing here? Like, what's your plan? Like, I feel like everybody's feeling it.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like the romanticizing about things not going downhill is over. I think everybody's kind of like, okay, and that's not true. There's still 75% of people are still ignoring it, which is obviously a huge percentage, but it's the 25% that's finally like, okay, like we're in a fucking bad spot. Like inflation is just mind numbing. And if you understand that, it's this isn't getting better and people are stopping spending money. People are running out of money. Like I don't know why people don't understand that. People are running out of money and like when people run out of money, that means they stop spending money, which means if they stop spending money, that means the businesses stop making money. So that means the businesses go out of business and then the business owners stop spending money and then the people they buy stuff from don't have money and so they go out of it and it's just this chain reaction of just stuff that's it's just happening. I mean, I feel like my paranoia or whatever you want to call it is like we're done with that. This is real life. This is what's happening. It's just how long can the media and the stock market and everything hide this and keep it together? It's just going to fall out, I think.
Well, at what point hiding what? Aren't we all like, this is bullshit? I don't think you can hide that, like, you go to the grocery store and things are like quadruple what they
They
used to
fucking
be.
hide it. Like inflation's at like 10%, which we all know is insanity. Like it's not 10%. I was telling you, I went to the mall with my kids and they had a dessert kiosk that had a little small waffle with an ice cream, scoop of ice cream on it, and like a topping. And it was $16. Like, I used to think Ben and Jerry's for like $6 was insane. Like it is so insane. And then now we're paying like almost $20 for just a dessert.
A
Like
tiny dessert.
it's it's like people are just like whatever. But I was at the fair yesterday, right? And I heard some guy, and he was like, "Do you know how much?" He's talking to his wife, girlfriend, or something. He's like, "Do you know how much they're charging for beer?" And she's like, "What?" And he goes, "They want $9 for a glass of beer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
$9 for a glass of beer." And that isn't even like talking about the rest of the food. A turkey leg, the big novelty sized turkey leg, $20.
That's insane.
And it's just when you're sitting. I was just sitting on the park bench while my kid was riding the rides, and so. But when you can hear people complaining about prices, and I mean, we're in it. But
Yeah.
people are still spending money. They're just like, how much it costs, like.
Well, that's what's so crazy to me. People are still at the fair. You're still seeing people eating turkey legs. It people are still going to Taco Bell, McDonald's.
But even that, like, I get that. Okay, so you went to the fair, you got a turkey leg. Skip the beer because it's insane. But you're over there doing the, like, flip the frog into the bucket fucking thing so you can win like a stuffed animal or something. Like, I mean, you gotta, if you're not sensible, you're just gonna die here. You gotta cut back on shit like that. Like, I mean, you got to.
Yes, you do.
But I don't know. People are just all in, I guess. I don't, this is what we're talking about. I don't even know how people are affording it. Like, if you went to the fair and you had, like, can you imagine having like 5 beers? Like $45 into like 5, you're not even drunk, and it's like $45 later. I don't I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't.
A turkey leg and 5 beers, $65. But then like you got to pay for parking, which was $8, and then it's $12 to get in, so you're 20. So you're like, dude, it's so expensive. Everything.
Everything. It's crazy, wild, and expensive.
But that's what I was telling you before we started this little podcast right now, is you and I have really cinched down and just said no more spending, like, on anything, unless it's business or food, pretty much.
Yeah.
If it's making us money, we'll spend money, or if we're eating it. But even eating it, we're not on.
Yeah, we've
cut back on that
way
shit too.
back. Way back, even on our food.
But it's been so liberating and empowering to stop spending money like that and just be able to go like, hey, yeah, no, it looks like it's expensive out there, and I'm glad I'm not in it. Like, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not paying $5 something a gallon of gas and buying your $16 desserts, and I'm not doing any of it. I eat at home, and I'm not buying any of your crap. I don't need anything. I'm fine. I'll sit here, and I guess I'm destroying the economy. Like everybody, but I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it anymore. But I guess, I guess that brings up a good point. Is like, who are you hurting? I don't know, but I feel like it's got to stop.
Well, you have to do something. You can't just spend $700 a month to go to the gym and do yoga and jujitsu.
But that's what we watched Ice Cube on Joe Rogan, and it was a super huge moment, at least for me, when he was talking about the Bud Light thing and people not spending money on Bud Light. And then Ice Cube was like, "Yeah, but who is the band really hurting?" He's like, Bud Light, or I guess it's Anheuser-Busch, they sell so much more beer than the next competitor that they're like a couple $100 million ahead of the next guy. So they don't care if their profits I mean, they do care. It's not a like a game changer. Well, it's not like shit's not going to be over if they lose half of their profits. They don't want to, but at the same time, it's like, but he was like, who's really suffering? The guy that's suffering is the guy that brings the beer to the store. It's the guy that brews and bottles the beer and delivers. It's all the people that work for Bud Light that are suffering.
Middle class people.
It's the middle class people. And if you talk about inflation, I mean, is this all part of the plan where shit is so expensive that's how they start the chain reaction, is by shit being so expensive that people like you and I go, I'm not spending anymore. And then we don't spend anymore. So even if we have, say we got $1 million in the bank, we're not spending. Well, now that's how you start the collapse. It's because if you're not spending, even though you have money, now the business owners don't make money. So now they don't employ people. And then when you don't employ, yeah, it's just like this huge chain reaction. And what are you going to do, though? What are you going to do? You just keep spending and go, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Watch your bank account go to zero
Well, it's going to though. Whether you, no matter what you do, unless you've got tons of money in the bank, it's. But even if you have tons of money in the bank, I don't know what you're going to do when everything totally collapses. Like we were looking that or listening to that Peter Schiff guy on Jordan Peterson talk about the collapse of the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean he's an economics guy and he knows what he's talking about, I guess. And it's like he's saying there's a very good possibility of the US dollar collapsing. And so if the US dollar collapses and a dollar's not worth the paper it's printed on, well, okay, so you have a couple million in the bank, like congratulations.
Well, yeah, I actually agree with that. I mean, I'm no economist, but I think the dollar is going to collapse.
Well, I mean it's headed that way. So but that's what we're saying is like it's all by design. We're not spending money and then inflation's getting so crazy and then the debt is so out of control. It's just like, I mean, what are you going to do about all this? What are you going to do about all this? Maybe the thing to do is spend your money right now, and you spend your money on hydroponics, you spend your money on chickens, you spend your money on guns, you spend your money and buy stuff that you need right now.
You mean that could get you through when the dollar collapses?
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
you might as well get rid of your money before there is no money to be had anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge possibility.
It's such a hard thing to think about, though. It's just like spending your money, just like I gotta get rid of this. We buy some tractors and whatever you're buying. Like,
It's like that Richard Pryor movie when he got all that money and he had to spend it in so many days.
yeah, you got to be smart about what you're spending your money on right now. Like thinking about the future. So I don't know. So I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like you and I are going through like these waves of emotion, I guess. Because half of you, when you kind of look at the state of the world, you're like, why am I working again? Like, why am I trying to build a business? What? It's so confusing.
It is.
And so you're like, I don't have any motivation today because the world's like
The
on
world's
fire.
collapsing.
Yeah. And like we're talking about, okay, so like the US dollar is going to collapse and we won't have any money. I mean, just exaggerate, 6 months. And so why am I trying to make money? Why am I trying to do anything? But that's what we talk about is maybe we need to wake up today and we need to go harvest fruit and dry fruit or canned fruit or whatever. And maybe we need to plant some more food or we need to, whatever. It's like it's just confusing. The whole world's confusing. Then I feel like I'm looking around and everybody's going crazy. I feel like everybody is losing their mind. Of course, not me.
No, everybody else.
Everybody else is
Not
losing
us.
their mind. But I just look at like people are getting so stressed out. I think when you've got inflation, it's so crazy and people not being able to pay their bills. And there's so much, I was talking about this with you last night. There's so much just weirdo, like conspiracy theory, like fuck with your mind sort of thing on like Instagram that people watch all day long. And it's like, man, if you're watching all that stuff, like that'd be harder to take than like the truth of what's going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that because I think of just like my dad watching the news and he's very impacted by that.
Well, yeah, I mean, can you imagine like what we were watching about like the moon's not real or like flat Earth or
Or the
aliens are
atomic
here?
bomb isn't
Oh yeah,
real.
atomic bombs aren't real. There's all this shit, and like, man, if you start getting into that, like, oh, you're just gonna go crazy. You're gonna go crazy. Yeah, I don't know, and I think that's by design too. I think they're trying to make everybody crazy because I mean, all signs point to driving people mad.
Well, I think so too. I was telling you yesterday, I don't think we were meant to have this kind of information thrown at us, and now it just keeps getting thrown at us
Yeah.
quicker and quicker to where you can just, like, I don't do TikTok, but I see people do TikTok, but I do Instagram, and I literally like can just, I only allow myself like 5 or 10 minutes at a time, but I don't like focus long on one thing. You are just scrolling through, and I don't think it's good for human minds to have that much information at one time.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about before TV, before phones. You just sit in your house and what's Bob down the street doing?
Can you imagine if we had to do that all of a sudden? What most people won't be able to handle that.
Do you think so, or do you think it'd be freeing? I feel like it'd be freeing.
No, I think a lot of people will not be able to. I think it would be freeing for us. I don't think many people would feel freedom. They would feel lost.
Yeah, I think you're right, but it's so weird that they need something like that. I think it would be great, man. Like, what if everything just went down and you just had to just live this life? You know, no TV. Even I've never liked TV. No phones, no TV. Amazing. The stuff you'd get done again, amazing. So I was saying, like, I'd like to know um, the average amount of time that somebody spent in the bathroom pre-phone versus post-phone. I'm guessing, like, when you used to go to the bathroom, you'd be in there for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and now it's like 15 to 20 minutes. Like,
No, I don't take my phone in there. Everybody takes their phone in there to go to the
I'm
bathroom.
pretty sure.
If I have my phone with me, it gets set on the counter. Like, I don't look at the phone in the bathroom. That's a crazy thought.
You're talking about pooping?
Anything. Peeing, pooping. Well, you guys stand up, so you probably don't look at your phone while you're
No.
peeing. But I don't look at my phone while I'm doing my hair or anything. I'm not using my phone unless if someone's texting me, like I had a conversation going on, I might bring it in then.
Well, that's my problem. I feel like it's a great time to get things done. Get caught up on texting somebody or researching something that you need to get or making a to-do list or something like that.
I'm not there.
Hmm.
I'm not to that level.
I'm guessing you're probably like a fraction of a percent of people that don't use their phone in the bathroom.
Maybe.
You don't take it in there on purpose, or because you just don't
It's
think about
not a habitual thing that it's just not something I do.
it?
It's not a purposeful thing. It's just,
Weird.
I think it's weird that you think it's weird. Do you know that there was a time that nobody had a phone to take in the bathroom?
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. And you think it's weird that I don't take it in there. Don't you think that's weird?
No, because it's such an opportune time to look on your phone. It's kind of like when you have a job, the best time to go poop is when you're working. Like, you work that schedule out so you poop while you work. You you sure don't poop when you come home. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you do it once a day, you make sure you're at work when you do it.
I didn't even know that was a thing that you needed
Really?
to work out.
Oh no, yeah, no. You want to get paid to take a poop. You don't want to do it on your free time. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't believe you don't know these things.
I don't know these things.
Well, so I guess that speaking for you, I guess I think that's how we're both feeling, is just kind of like we catch like big, strong heads of wind and lots of momentum, and then like it kind of feels like the world is like, no, we're not.
Yeah, it
doing
seems like
this.
something will slap you in the face really fucking hard.
Yeah, but that's what you're saying is it feels like a conspiracy against us, and I don't believe that.
I don't either.
I don't
But it
believe
does
that, but
feel that way.
yeah, it just feels like you're on Facebook and they're like, well, let's make this as hard as possible. Or you're like going to the doctor and you're like, well, let's make it so they can't get better.
Yeah.
It's like, why is everything so hard? Like, why is everything so... But the thing is like you're talking about going to the doctor, like you already know what you need.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, like I figured this out. In fact, I've been doing this. It's been helping. Just help. And like, oh, well, we can't do that. Or it's like if you had an answer to the Facebook thing, like we think we kind of do, is like, hey, it's looking at the wrong business page. Can you direct it to the right? Can you help with that? It's like, it's not like there's no answers to any of these things. I mean, maybe the post office thing where my package didn't get, like, there's no answer to that, I guess. Somebody has an answer is a thing.
I bet you that there is an answer.
No, somebody has the answer. Like in California where they kept turning it around, they're like, no, this can't come here because it's got the wrong address. But there's no protocol to fucking write that down anywhere or to notify somebody. Like they just turn it around. They go, no, no, rejected. I mean,
yeah, somebody knows somewhere, just not where you were when you were speaking to them.
But there's no communication. There's zero communication about how to get it done and how to fix it, which is it's so crazy that this is what we talk about is how are we so technologically advanced and so not technologically advanced at the same time.
I know, it's crazy to think about.
Like AI, that's the joke, right? Is AI could like literally take over the world here very soon, but we won't be impacted because we don't have the internet out here.
Right.
Like and just so everybody knows, like I'm still trying to upload last week's video. Oh, yeah, okay, fine. So you want to talk about more shit that doesn't work? We've uploaded
Spotify.
Yeah, we've uploaded episode 4 and 6, and then it shows up on Spotify as being done, but then it doesn't show up on Spotify as episodes. And what's happening? I don't know. Nobody knows.
So yeah, it'll show up Spotify for podcasters, which is where we load it.
The software to put it on.
Then it doesn't show to you on Spotify.
And so I've been deleting that and adding it back like 100 times. And then, like I say, like last week's I've been trying to upload, and it's just our internet sucks. Like you can't upload anything.
It's very true. We won't have any problems being impacted by AI at all.
AI is like, we're here to kill you. And then you're like, wait, what? What? And then it'll be like the circle just be going.
Yeah.
Thinking like
we're fine.
We'll be back later when you're ready to kill us. So frustrating for AI. Yeah. Okay. Well, you got anything else, Carol E? Or no. Eric, whatever your name is?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. And we'll try to get these uploaded. I'll have to go to town to try to get them uploaded on.
We'll have to spend some money.
No, that's the thing is we can't just spend money to get better internet. There's just nothing out here. There's nothing works. A Starlink or whatever Elon's bullshit is, but we've been on the wait list for months and months and months, and it's not available. That's just another thing, right? Like how come we just can't get Starlink? I mean, I guess he's got limitations on what he can do, but it's like can't get anything done at all. So, all right. Well, this is kind of like a complaining podcast, but
a little bit
reality podcast.
Yeah.
So, anyway, again, thanks for watching, and maybe we'll be upbeat on our next one.
Maybe.